Mitrulara Bandrulala. Mitrunam, this is South Asia Maps, your presenter Dr. Reddy. Mitrunam, today we are exploring our part 32 of our population series, Population Explosion and Demography, or population series of Bharat and also many countries and even planet Earth itself. After this present, most of the time, Mitranam, in India, I will notice people are talking about two-child policy for a family or one-child policy. We have taken this even higher level. What happens if a zero-child policy is followed in Bharat? Let's say for next 3 decades or 4 decades, what really will happen? This is the hypothetical explorations. After this presentation, you will see the seriousness of the population elephant in post Radcliffe India, that is truncated Bharat, vivisected Bharat. Mitranam, this is our presentation population series here, and we are in this part 32. Zero child policy. In India, every decade there are 32 million deaths happen. We can round it up to 100 million deaths happen in India every decade. That means an average every year 9 million people pass away in India, or 10 million people will pass away in India. And Mitranam, this is my YouTube channel, that is South Asia Maps, Reddy. You can see these are the 70 or so playlists, each has around about 10, 15, 20 or so. Diverse topics are covered in Indology and human ecology. You can all look at them and explore them further. There are more than 600 or so series presentations. After your presentation, you will get a very great clarity. What are here we have the India Bharat, the 3.2 million square kilometers post Radcliffe time. Zero child policy, if you follow in India, final conclusion will be it is not of much utility at all. That means if you take that argument of mine, which is subjective, of course, and you can seriously think about people recommending one child policy in 2024. How do we calculate this? Is very easy. I will walk you through after this presentation. Things will be very intuitive for you. I have taken from this Wikipedia birth, birth rate for 1,000 people. That means a village in South India, in my CD Rayalaseema district, will have around about 1,000 people village. Every year, round about 16 births, 16.1, deaths will be 6.6. The difference between these two will be, we are not concerned now because we are only deaths. That means what happens? Let me show here, Mitra. That means we take the birth 16.1 for 1,000 people, 16.1 births. That means 1,000 people, you make it 16 million for 1,000 million people. For 1,400 million people, you get round about 22. That is per year. That means per decade, round about 220 million people are born in India per decade. Remember, some people will die away. Per decade in India, round about 92 million people die. 220 minus 92, round about 128. That's what I, in my previous presentation, I posted around about 110 million net birth additions per decade in India. Why this is 128, why that is 110 means depends upon what source you have taken the information, sometimes projection. So you should get a broader idea rather than very picky about the exact number. It should be in that range 110 million net additions or 115 million, sometimes 100 million, something like that. So 220 million births per decade, round about you can say 100 million deaths per decade. Okay, here we are concerned. Let's say there is no birth in India for the next 3 or 4 decades. What are the scenario? See, births we ignore for next 30 years. Death 6.6 per thousand people in the average thousand people village. 6.66 instead of thousand people, make it thousand million. You get 6.6 million. Indian population is around about 1400 million, right? So you get around about 9 or 9.2 here. Every decade, the yearly death will be 9.2 million. For a decade, multiply with the 10, 92 million. That means in 2024, 2023, we started 1400 million. Let's say everybody in India agreed that they will not give birth to any children, zero child policy for the next 3 decades. By 2034, you take away 92 million, that means 1308. And 2044, 92 two times, you get 1216 people still living. And 2054, that means 92 three times 1124 people. Let's project it one more decade. 2064, 92 four times 1032. To make the things simple, instead of 92, let's say round it up to 100. 100 million people die per decade in India, and we are assuming there'll be no births at all, zero child policy. A couple, married couple, will not produce any children. That means after 4 decades, 400 million people will pass away. If you start with 1400 in 2024 25, by 2065, 4 decades, you will still have a thousand million people, that is 1 billion people. That is too many people by that time. Why? That comment I have made. Right now, India enjoys a lot of phantom carrying capacity, industrial agriculture, farming, spraying the land immense amount of urea, phosphate, fertilizer, using the tractors. Still, combiners, harvesters are not that popular in India compared to United States and Western world. And herbicides are all just sprayed, and soil is used as a sterile medium to produce the food. So we are able to produce immense amount of food to feed the people. That means by 2050, there will not be much oil on the planet Earth. That is next 3 decades. By 2064, practically there will be no oil. That means you cannot practice industrial agriculture. Collapse of oil based industrial farming. That means there will be less urea, less combiner, harvesters, machinery, tractors, pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers. By mid century 2050s, 60s, population cannot be fed. That means there will be less carrying capacity on the planet Earth. Scenario will be totally different. Much of the food has to be produced by the traditional ways, and you won't get much yield per hectare acre of the farmland. That means today there is a phantom carrying capacity. You see, this is a donkey carrying a bag, 2 bags, or rice bags, 3 bags. Then donkey cannot carry. You put it more bags, donkey will collapse. That is entire thing. You can see the planet at the concept called carrying capacity surplus used to be there round about the World War II times. When there was World War One time, there are 2 million people used to live on the planet Earth. That carrying capacity surplus was real. Then that saturation occurred, CCP, carrying capacity saturation. Now the carrying capacity deficits are occurring. Phantom carrying capacity means you are artificially running the system by industrial farming, oil based system, fossil fuel system. That means we are actually suffering carrying capacity deficits, that is masked by the phantom carrying capacity. That means Bharat will not be able to support many people in the coming years due to carrying capacity deficit. That is the best case scenario. Let's say after 3 decades, 4 decades, government changes the policy. People can give birth to, let's say, one child. That does not matter. Even if zero child policy is followed right now, India has a no solution. You can alleviate the problem. That means you want to complicate it, you want to make it more complicated. You can alleviate, but you cannot solve the problem because already 1400 redundant population surplus people are already present in Bharat today. This has to be understood by the policy makers, decision makers. Most of the time, people I see only discussing about the politics, the seats in the parliament, this party winning, that party winning. That's not a really serious issue. Population is the serious issue. So hope this will put you in proper perspective for you, Mitrona. I have put more other population series. You can go to demography one, demography two. You can see and enjoy. You will get a deeper understanding of that. In addition to that, I have also put the ecology series. This is part three. I am showing you. There are many correlated. They go hand in hand with the demography. That means, and if you take the Bharat, we have 8,000 million people or 8,100 million people on the planet Earth as of 2024. India itself has 1400 plus, China has 1400. In India, if you follow zero child policy, China used to follow one child policy a few years back. In India, if you follow zero child policy, still almost 92 million people will die per decade. Make it 100, that means next 4 decades, only 400 million people will die. Still, 1,000 people will be there, and the population at that stage will not be sustainable due to the decline or complete collapse or dysfunctional nature of industrial farming. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. So alleviation is possible, but solution is not there. Nature will provide the solution. Unfortunately, I have to say that that will be very unpleasant to us, and that's what it will be, the ecological perspective. Thank you very much, and hope this will present you in proper perspective, Mitrana. See you later in other presentations. Your presenter, Dr. J. Reddy, South Asia Map. If you like the presentations, you can post your comment or any suggestions. Even you can bring it to the notice of your friends and subscribe the channel. Thank you very much.